It wasn't on my itinerary for this morning, but as I'm driving through here anyway, I thought I might as well stop, because it's another one of those places that you might just rush through on your way to somewhere else and never stop and take a look. It's a lovely little place, this. I used to drive buses through here quite regularly, on the way from Eastbourne to Uckfield. But this was a terminal point as well. We went up and turned round the green, and a nice variety of houses all the way around the green of varying ages. And we come to a relatively modern, I think it's one of those sheltered housing things, but we've got this lovely old row of cottages here, reminiscent of the original look Atkinson grocer, Rushlake Green village stores and post office. I'm very pleased to see it still here. When I drove buses through here, Lionel Dorr and his family had it, and my youngest daughter wouldn't eat jelly babies from anywhere else. They were indeed the best jelly babies you could buy anywhere. But as you rush through the village, it's very easy to miss this row of cottages over here on the right. And I don't want to get too close, again, because I don't want to invade people's privacy, but look. And with the old direction sign in the picture as well, isn't that lovely? Let's just go a bit closer. The trouble is the street furniture gets everywhere. Let's come, there we go. Look at those old chimneys there, and somebody's got a Union flag there. I won't call it a Union Jack because it's not on a ship, but there, lovely old building. A row of cottages, flowers up against the wall. That's just chocolate box stuff, isn't it? And what I'm going to do, it's probably easier if I walk along here and zoom in, because most of the time you rush past and you don't stop and look, but there is a lovely row of cottages and a pub over on the other side, and they're right in the sunlight at the moment. Now, I don't know if it's going to be easier. Yeah, the old pub at Rushlake Green, the Horse and Groom. And I think it's best seen from a distance. There. How about that? Still there. Still going strong. Snacks, Horse and Groom, ales and stouts, wines and spirits. And teas. There we go. And that is an unplanned visit to Rushlake Green. Lovely. Here's another place you could easily miss if you're not careful. Welcome to Turner's Green. And I don't think I've ever seen this before. Mallards sitting on top of a building. Typical mallard, isn't it? Female with 2 males in tow. You could write a News of the World article about the behaviour of mallards, but we won't go into that here. I remember when I was driving buses up and down here, this clock, it used to work, but it doesn't look as though it's worked for ages now. Anyhow, it's funny what you see when you come out this time of the morning. It's just on 6 o'clock now on a Sunday morning, and I'm looking across. There's this lovely old building there, look. How old would you say that was? I'd say that's certainly got its origins, 17th century origins at least, even if added to since. But that's all there is here, really. Turner's Green. A little green, there is. Some ivy covered telegraph poles. Nice little tree there. Lovely place if you can afford to live here. That's a more modern looking house, that one there, anyway, isn't it? So. Oh, that's nice, look. Turner's house. There. It's one of those places like Swales Green. Can't find anything about the origins, but probably owned by a Mr. Turner, this whole area at one time. Anyway, that's it. Turner's Green. Hello and goodbye. Here's another place you could easily miss. 3 Cups Corner. And there used to be a thriving pub up here, the 3 Cups, but doesn't seem to be any sign of it. There's a building there, the old dairy. It's quite an age to it. And I can't remember where. Ah. Do you know, I think it was here. I'm walking towards the sunlight. There we are. This one's for you, Kerry. I know you've got family connections here. Actually, I've got family connections too. My late first wife's mother was a coppard from Punnet's Town. So your families might well have known each other, but this is a very sad sight. I mean, this was a lovely place. Many, many years ago, we'd come out here on a summer evening. Beautiful. Bite to eat, nice drink. Now look at it. Will it be restored as a pub? I very much hope so. It would be a shame to see this corner converted into yet more flats, or houses. Anyway, 3 Cups. Three Cups Corner. Blink and you'll miss it. I must admit, despite the cold, I'm glad I came out this morning. There's a nice old building. Funny, isn't it? You don't have houses with chimneys now, but for good or bad, they certainly give a building character. And it's nice to see a use for this old telephone box here. It has a defibrillator in it. Excellent idea. And at least you can still post a letter. Welcome to Dallington. Now, I've been through it in a manner of speaking on the main road, but I've never actually been into what might be called the hamlet itself. 70 years it's took me to get here, but I'm glad I came. It's about 6:20, maybe just a little later on this Sunday morning, and you talk about chocolate box settlements. Well, this is certainly one, that's for sure. Now, I'm looking at this house here and trying to be very careful not to invade people's privacy, because this is a lovely building. Look at this. Wooden timbers. Well, of course they're wooden timbers. Stupid boy. But that's got to have some age in it. Got to be 14th, 15th century in origin. Dallington is actually recorded in the Domesday Book. I won't get any closer than that, but boy, that's something else, isn't it? I just come up that lane there. As luck would have it, I didn't meet anything until I got just round the corner there, and this lady was coming down in a car filled with family and what's it, they were obviously going away, and she had to reverse up the top of the hill, but luckily it wasn't that far for her to reverse. But yes, this is the White Cottage, Dallington. There's a nice plaque on the wall there. This is beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, you see the church spire up there. I'm telling you, it's 6:25 as well. On a Sunday morning, another castellated type spire. This unusual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided design on the, by the looks of it, on the side of it. Very interesting. But just a couple of quick comments. The tower is 16th century here. Very, very sketchy information available for the church. As I said, I think before, at Chidinloy, there are, so far as I know, only 3 stone spires in East Sussex. So Chidinloy, this one, and the other one is at Northiam. That added extra bit onto the tower could well be another one of those cases where a staircase was added in later years and then a covering built around the staircase. Almost looks like a rocket booster, doesn't it? But anyway, there you go. That is the church spire that Mad Jack Fuller reckoned or had a bet with his friend that he could see from the window of his property in Brightling. And of course he couldn't, and that's why he built Sugarloaf. And if you want to know a bit more about the Sugarloaf, I would refer you to, must be 2 years ago I recorded that now, by Charcoal and Tongs, being part 1. And there is the First World War Memorial. And that's the spire which Mad Jack Fuller said he could see from his bedroom window in Brightling, which of course he couldn't. And that's why he built the Sugarloaf, which we've seen in earlier videos. It's quite an imposing building. I have more information on it for you later. I need to do a little bit more research so that I can add to what I said, but let's just go down here. If you notice the change in light, it's because when I first started filming here, the battery ran out of my camera. I'd stopped at a couple of other places and forgotten that I'd done so and miscalculated, so I've had to come back. I couldn't quite get back with the exact lighting, unfortunately. However, I have returned, as I said I would, and we're going to complete the filming. And at the moment I'm going to take a walk up through Dallington village, or hamlet as you might call it, and take a closer look. I'm right at the top end now. There's some quite nice stained glass windows here, and that's an interesting mark on the wall there. Where am I? There. Now I don't know if that's a mason's mark I'm looking at, or whether you see those indentations there. Was there something there a bit earlier? But having said that, I'm not sure they are mason's marks. But look on those windows. That's an unusual thing. You don't see much of that on church windows. And there's the stained glass. Would that I could get inside these buildings to have a look. Wouldn't that be nice? What a sad state of affairs now. And I'm looking at these railings here. One wonders if they're products of the iron industry, and I'm looking for a mark, because the chances are that these came from Ashburnham, but I can't discern any actual maker's mark on them. But my guess is that they would be among the last of the railings, and among the last things to have come out probably of the Ashburnham Iron Forge in the latter part of the 18th century, I would think, those. And there's another mark on the wall. They could well be to do with the Knights Templar and that sort of organisation, I guess. But I can't say that I've seen it as a common thing with these heads, escutcheons, call it what you like, on windows in churches. Now to me that is unusual. As I say, a small church, and I'm going to do a bit more research when I get back home. I've only done light research for today, but I'm sure there's more about this church than meets the eye. And there may well indeed be, but information available online is very, very sketchy indeed. I can tell you that the tower is the only surviving part of the original church here. The rest of it was, for whatever reason, and nobody seems to know it, was built in rebuilt in 1864. The church appears ponderously low and heavy, and I think the fact that it's got such a large entrance porch makes for a very gloomy appearance on entry. And what I find out, I will certainly let you know. Now, when I was here before, we saw the 14th century manor house, but walking through Dallington, it's just like walking through history. Almost every building here is listed. Let's have a look here. Yes, Rose Cottage. Let's see. Old wooden beams up there. Now you see, you can drive up the road from Battle to Airfield and you wouldn't know this was even here. For instance, oh, I'm getting a lovely smell from these plants. There's honeysuckle growing up the wall there, but I could probably just risk having a look. Yes, this is the old post office. And the problem is, because they're all private houses and I'm right on the main street, I'm a bit reluctant to film them, although that's what I'm here for, because I'd like to have some respect for people's property and privacy. But there is so much of interest everywhere you look. This, for instance, bare house, and there's a clock. The smells from these gardens, roses. Look at this. There's tiny little roses here, look. Aren't they lovely? Frog House, Brookfield House, lovely old names. Oh look, and this one here it's got the traditional, you see that by the door, the old type bell where you pull the handle and it rings the bell inside the door. Look at the size of these hydrangeas. My word. Bay Tree Cottage. Now look at this. How about that for a building? I don't know what its name is, but a lovely garden. This is called Panton's Cottage. Yeah. Now this is, according to my research, 17th century. But looking at the architecture, I'd say it's probably earlier. I think we're looking at 16th century here for the original bits. And there's a water pump in the garden. But yes, how lovely. A little wishing well. Trying to keep out of the sun now. What have we here? This, I think, was the old school. Now, I'm not sure on this one, but yes, I'm pretty certain this was the old school. This is now the village hall. It was the old school. Now, even when I was at school, my junior school, there were always two entrances, one for the boys and one for the girls. And I'm guessing that door, although you've got to accept this building has been modernised quite a bit, and there's another door, and I would put money on it that one of them at one time would have said girls and the other one would have said boys, and that was the village school. The newer one is a bit further up the road. I'm not going to go much further because we're virtually at the end of this old part of the village now, but that's just Panton's. I was actually looking for the old rectory. I don't think I've found it yet. We'll come up this way a little bit. I probably walked as far as the new school. The breeze. Now I'm having problems with the sun. I can't read anything. Everything is to do with Pantons up here. No, that's the new school up there. That's the current school. So I'll head back down towards the car. There's one more building I'm looking for. Hopefully I'll find it. And if I do, we'll resume filming. I've just heard a buzzard. Now, this is the old rectory, and the problem for me is, because this is a private gate, and again, I don't really want to intrude on their privacy, but this is one of the interesting houses here, and I feel a bit awkward. I'm sorry I can't show you any more than that, and that is all I dare show you, because of the privacy restrictions, unfortunately. I don't really want to go any closer to their gate, and some of it has been modernised, but basically that building was the old curate's house and was the very first school built here, and that dates back to the 16th century. No, it doesn't. 17th century. So I'm not sure if we can get a... There is a view through there, I think. can I? Yeah, just a little through the trees there. Anyway, I'm just about to head off home for my breakfast. It's, I think it's about 7:30 in the morning now, and I've been out since 4:45 filming, and I've been a few places. This was a revisit, as I say. I had to finish off, and I'm actually now standing at the back end of the churchyard, so I'm just going to pan through there. On a very quiet Sunday morning, this is where I shall finish my filming for the day. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Time to go home.